Eagles. Eagles.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back in to the Legal Hands to the Face show. Excited to introduce 10-year Philadelphia Eagle veteran and clearly a father, Todd Herremans. What's up, man?
What's up, Bill? How's it going?
All good, brother. I've been there, man. My kids always try to come into the office.
They only want to come in when the camera's on.
How you doing, man? All right?
Yeah. Life's good.
Well,
Life is great.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you making time.
Yeah.
So I was looking at your stats today, man. 10 years with the Eagles, and your rookie year was what, 2005?
Yeah, 2005. That was when it kind of went crazy here in Philly.
The TO drama, right?
Yeah. That was my introduction to the NFL. It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that must have been a lot of fun. And, you Douglas has told the story on the radio recently about his little scuffle in the locker room with TO.
Yeah, I believe he calls it a kerfuffle. Yeah, that was something that was pretty memorable. The whole year was just crazy to me because I didn't know what to expect coming into the NFL from a Division II school. And then, to be in one of the most, team dramatic seasons that the NFL's ever seen with guys, T.O. was doing the stuff in his driveway and then Coach Reed was just telling him not to come to work. And I mean, we had a brawl before our first game even started in Atlanta that year. And Trotter got kicked out of the game before the game even started. So that was all my first year. And it was a wild ride. Opened my eyes up a lot to, every year is a new year in the NFL because when I first got drafted, man, we were in the NFC Championship game like every year. And so I was like, oh, shit, we're going to go back to the championship game. I'm going to be in the Super Bowl before you know it, And then we went 6-10 and had like 30 guys on IR. So, every year is a new season. That's for sure in the NFL.
Yeah, and 05, your rookie year, they had just lost the Super Bowl in 04. So you're seeing what we were all worried about is a Super Bowl hangover. And I think you played in the NFC Championship game in 2007?
Yeah, 7 or 8, something like that, yeah.
So
against, Arizona, right?
Yeah, Arizona.
Yep.
I thought you guys had that game, man.
Man, we did have it. There was a couple plays that definitely could have went our way that would have sent us to Detroit that year, I believe.
Yeah, because I think the Steelers won, didn't they? Bettis won in his hometown.
Yep. Man, and then that was another thing. It was still early in my career, and I was like, no worries, we'll get back here. We'll get back here in another year or so, and then never sniffed it again.
So take us through, because a lot of fans were nervous about a Super Bowl hangover. Now, you never went to a Super Bowl and lost, but you went to an NFC Championship and unfortunately lost, and you saw the team coming off of a Super Bowl. How hard is it for a team to do what this Eagles team is doing, going 5-0 to start a season after losing the Super Bowl?
Well, I mean, 5-0 back-to-back seasons for the first time in franchise history. Obviously, it's hard to do since it's never been done before, at least here in Philly. It's tough, man. They've had a target on their back ever since last year, and everybody was talking about them during the offseason. Just that they were the team to beat. How are they going to shuffle all these guys that their contracts are up? What are they going to do in free agency? Who are they going to add? How are they going to be able to keep all this firepower with the money available and stuff? And man, Howie did the dance, and I think that they had an even better roster heading into this season than they had last year, which was at the beginning of the offseason would have been tough to imagine. But they're just. I think they got really good leadership. The coach is the one that seems to, get emotionally fired up. The rest of the guys seem to be pretty methodical and just show up lunch pail in hand and do their job every day. And you hear them all talking about it. Like they don't care if they're blowing people out. Yeah, I'm sure some of the starters would love to be up 40 points and take the fourth quarter off or something like that. But their main goal is to win every game and be 1-0 each week. And they're doing it so far.
And you mentioned Sirianni, how he's fired up, and everybody else kind of has the workman attitude. You've played for 3 head coaches, right? Andy Reid, Chip Kelly, and Chuck Pagano.
Yep.
Were any of those guys
Chip.
similar to right? You had Chip, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, I was with Chip for 2 years.
And then Chuck Pagano in your last year in Indy.
Correct. Yep.
Sirianni wasn't there back then, was he?
I don't believe Sirianni was on the coaching staff at that point. If so, I don't remember.
Yeah. So take us through, what was it like to play for Big Red?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, that's the bulk of my career, so I have nothing but fond memories of Coach Reed. I was really young and immature when I came into Philly, and he kind of saw that I needed a little fathering role, and he became that that out of town father for me, since my dad was back home, and just kind of kept me on track for the reason that I was here and not any of the other stuff.
Yeah, he was a good dude. I actually was working down there when you were on the team, and Big Red was the coach. I was with Big Dom and Butch. So I got a little bit of an inside look at how good of a guy he was and how much the players loved him, man.
Yeah, Big Red. You got to earn his respect, but once you do, like, the guys will ride for him forever. And that kind of seems very similar to Sirianni. I mean, there's a lot of people that are rubbed the wrong way by Sirianni, and just by the antics, the looking at the camera, stuff that you don't think like head coaches would be doing and stuff. But that's just seems to be his personality. And then again, all the the players' T-shirts and stuff that he's wearing, and it seems like he's really trying hard to be a player's coach, but it doesn't matter what it looks like from the outside in, because it's obvious the guys in the locker room respect him, and he's gained their trust and stuff like that. So it doesn't really matter what it looks like outside of it, as long as what he's doing is working inside the locker room, and it appears to be.
I had Dave Spadaro on my other show this morning, and what I was talking about with Sirianni is it's so genuine. He's not pretending to be somebody he's not, because if he was, I think it could even rub people in the locker room the wrong way. But that's who he is. He's
Right.
a fiery guy, and
Yeah,
players like that.
he just seems like one of those guys that would be playing Madden with his boys and just talking all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he seems like he's doing in real life now. And he's not able to talk shit to his boy that's on the other sideline, so he just does it to the camera or something like that.
Well, the fans love it. I know that. Fans love it. Well, I got to get your take, and I'm kind of sick and tired of talking about this play, but I want your opinion on it as an offensive lineman. The brotherly shove, the tush push. What is Todd Herremans' opinion about that play?
Let it ride. That's football. A lot of people don't think it is, but they're snapping the ball and pushing the other guys backward, and I think that's in essence moving the ball forward is what football is all about. And whether it's a foot at a time, 3 feet at a time. I think that the only reason there's such popularity about talking about it is just because they're so successful with it. If they weren't as successful with it, they probably wouldn't do it as much, and then people wouldn't even care. It'd be just like another team trying to sneak once in a while. But the fact that it's guaranteed, that they're going to use it on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. The defense knows it's coming, and nobody can seem to stop it. Well, there was one late in the game here this week, but for the most part, it's a high success rate, and that's the reason that they run it. So I don't see any issue with it. I'm all for it. I love it. I'm glad that I'm not on the offensive line right now, because man, when I was playing, they would call quarterback sneak, and some of those, I guess you kind of want it both ways as a lineman. It's going to be just a big pile opportunity for you to get twisted up in a mosh pit of dudes in there for a QB sneak. So I was not a huge fan of the QB sneak. But in 3rd and 1, 4th and short, something like that, if they don't call QB sneak and they call like a 3-step drop or something, you come off the sidelines pissed off. As an offensive lineman, I think that you want to be able to just unleash and push the guy back in that scenario. I love it now that I'm done playing, though. I think it's great.
And you played a few years with Kelsey, right?
Yeah. What year did Kelsey come in?
I think it was was it 06? No, he wasn't in the league that long.
What? He's on like 14 now, right?
Yeah, I'm looking it up as we talk.
Jackson.
Kelsey came in 2011.
Yeah, so I was here for 4 years with him.
And did he start as a rookie?
Well, he came in, I think Howard Mudd's first year was when Kelsey was here, right? Yeah, I think he ended up taking the starting job that year. So that was when Andy was here that brought Howard in. Must have been a couple years before Chip.
Yeah, Andy definitely drafted him because he drafted his brother too.
Yeah, so 2 years with Andy and Howard, and then I had 2 more years with Jason under Chip. But yeah, I believe I was right tackle when he first got here, and then I moved into right guard for the last 2 years because we drafted Lane.
Who's another potential future Hall of Famer.
Savage. Yeah, he's just what's impressive to me about Lane is he had the injury, the abdomen injury and stuff like that. And in order to come back from that the way that he has, I think it's just so impressive. It shows how much, work he does on his body and his flexibility and his core and stuff like that in the off season, off the field. But one thing Trey Thomas pointed out to me recently was just how he's kind of adjusted his game. Like Lane used to be this tackle that would let guys like run into him and he would just kind of absorb them and then gear down and you would see him drop his hips and he would just get to a point where guys wouldn't push him back anymore. And maybe that's what led to an abdomen injury. But you've seen him adjust his game a little bit since his injury as to where he's playing with a little more extension now. He's kind of steering guys and controlling them rather than just absorbing them and then just stopping them, So, dude, I think he's playing lights out. He looks great. Kelsey's looking really good this year. I think up front, I think they had a great game this last week. They're really starting to gel. Even with Opeta coming in there and playing, there's not too much of a drop off there at all. I thought he played really well as well.
Yeah, he impressed me, man. They got a lot of depth on both sides of the ball on the line for sure.
Yeah, the scary thing about that is you see a backup come in, and he's going to go cash in somewhere else eventually.
Yeah,
you want to be able to keep that depth.
Yeah, well, they lost Sayamala to Pittsburgh. Is that where he went?
Pittsburgh or something like that, I think.
So let me ask you, because one of the questions a lot of people are having with this Philadelphia Eagles team is they haven't really been able to run the screenplay as well as they used to under Andy Reid when you were on the team. What goes into running a successful screen? Because it looks like as athletic as this offensive line is, that's something I thought they'd be able to dominate with, and it just hasn't really been going as much as it has in previous years.
Yeah, I mean, I actually put a little bit of thought into this because the screen game takes a lot of work, a lot of timing, but also one thing I think that could be here is you have to lose to your D lineman in order to get the screen, working properly. And if your offensive line doesn't lose a lot, then the D linemen kind of realize it, like when they're faking, when they act like they're losing.
That's a good point. I mean? Yeah, no one's beaten Lane Johnson. So if you got past him, it's like, what the hell's going on?
Right, exactly. And like if there's a 3 technique that crosses face inside and Kelsey's not there and like they're just like they gear down and head out for a screen, so I feel like we ran the screens really well because we got beat once in a while, especially me on the inside. I would get beat and I loved running screen because I was like, man, I get to actually get beat on purpose this time. So and then get out there and just look for somebody to clean up. But the screen game's also evolved quite a bit. You're seeing a lot of bubble screens, swing screens, pulling one guy, one offensive lineman screens, just trying to get, them out there. And I don't know if they necessarily need the slow screen game, the old, I'm sure that they have it in their back pocket to run. But I don't know if they need it as much. They have so many weapons out there right now. And they're not struggling getting the ball to the backs at all either, So I loved running the screens. I thought that we put a lot of time into practicing them. I think a lot of it has to do with your offensive line coach and just what he sees as the you can't practice everything, every day, every time. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to pick your priorities of what's in the game plan, what's important to you. And I think that a lot of the quick screens is the kind of the trend now rather than those slow screens.
Yeah, it's a really good point, man. And you were here with Chip, so does that mean you are a graduate of Stoutland University?
Yeah, yeah, I got my shirt. I got my shirt. I went to what are the dogs, the underdogs.
Yeah. Hungry dogs run faster, right? Isn't that what it is?
Yeah. Dude, I love Stout. What a great dude. And to see all the success that he's having right now is just it's so great to see because he deserves every bit of it. He's just a grinder. He loves ball, he loves talking ball, and he loves the guys that play for him. And you can see that on the field. These guys don't want to let him down. They're out there grinding, trying even harder just because of the relationship they have with him. But man, yeah, it's great to see him last through what is this, his third head coach?
Yeah,
Yeah,
because he was with Chip, he was with Doug, and now he's with Nick.
Doug. Yeah. I mean, good coaches find a job, you know. So it doesn't surprise me, but it's great to see. I'm glad that he's still in Philly.
I still can't believe what he was able to do with Jordan Mailata. I mean, I know Mailata is a freak of nature with his athleticism, but from a guy who's never played football to now being one of the better left tackles in the NFL, it's impressive, man.
It really is, and I feel like that's a dream for offensive line coaches to catch somebody like that they can just mold, and then it's like their project. And when they see him hit the levels of success that he's hit, they can just be like, that's a lot of me has to do with that, so that's like Stoutland's project. He's looking great. Dude, the thing about Jordan is that dude is just so massive. When you see him in person, it's like he's so big. He's like a dang refrigerator walking around. I mean, he's so wide, and it's weird for me to say that because people always say that I'm so big, but man, he makes me feel so scrawny being around him. But just watching him develop, man, it's been very impressive. I think he puts a lot of time into his craft as well. It's not just that there was this coach that took this kid that had some ability and turned him into this thing. It takes a lot of effort from both sides. I'm sure there was plenty of headbutting going on a few times, but just to see him reach the level that he has, it's very exciting for the program to find a steal like that.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Was 7th-round draft pick for a left tackle? Incredible. Speaking of another draft pick, we talked about how they replenish this roster and they lose Javon Hargrave at the defensive tackle position, and Jalen Carter falls to the Eagles at 9. They move up a spot to get him. How impressed are you with him as a rookie in Jalen Carter?
I've never really seen a rookie dominate like that before. I'm nothing but impressed. I talk about it every week, every show I'm on. I'm just like, man, this guy. I don't know how we ended up with him. I don't know how he fell down that far. I mean, there were some issues supposedly, but man, what a gift. Especially with those guys in the locker room that he's with, Fletcher and BG, just such a great crew to learn from and to have as mentors. And those guys are hard workers as well. So it's a perfect situation for him to just come in and shine. Um, he's got a great football brain too. What you heard him talking about, I think last week, he was watching some extra film and he picked up something on the quarterback's cadence that was helping him get a good jump on the ball or something like that. And that's not something you generally hear from like a rookie. That's something you'll hear from like a third or fourth year player that has kind of got their ability figured out, learned the scheme, knows their job, and now can kind of try to find those little nuances to give them an edge. Usually that takes a few years to develop in the NFL. And to hear that he's already at that point where he can start picking those things out and putting the time in on film and stuff like that, that's awesome, dude. That's so great.
It's been impressive. And then I'm also been impressed about how well Fletcher Cox has been playing this late into his season. He was playing over 70% of the snaps. I know he did the epidural last week, but he's playing a lot of reps too. How impressed are you with Fletch?
I mean, I'm impressed that, it's almost like a little resurgence, it's nothing that I haven't seen. Like, I know that Fletch is a good player. I know that he can dominate. He used to give me fits when he first got here, in one-on-ones and stuff like that. But sometimes it takes some fresh legs in there, some younger guys that you know might be pressing you for your top dog spot or something like that to give you a little boost, put a little fire under your butt to get you going. And whatever it is, he's playing well. I was just thinking, same thing with BG. Did you see BG just destroy that center this last week?
Oh my God. Yeah, I watched the games in the green room with Seth Joyner every week because we do the pregame and postgame stuff.
Yeah,
And we were just laughing at man. BG still got it, man. He still got it.
dude, he absolutely destroyed that dude. Put him on roller skates, threw him on his back, and then jumped over. And I was hoping so bad that he got the quarterback on that one, but the dude just slipped out.
And I'm sure BG didn't talk any smack at all after he did that.
No, not at all. BG doesn't.
BG doesn't talk. Well, I just got a couple more questions for you, man, before I let you run. Another area that this Eagles offense has struggled with to start the season, and they've really been good. I hate to even say they've struggled because they're in the top 5 in the NFL in almost every category, which is unbelievable. But the red zone, they haven't been able to convert in the red zone as much as we want to see them convert. Why is it so much harder to score once you get inside the 20 in the NFL?
It's a good question, dude. I wish I had that answer many years in my career. We always, when I was playing, it seemed like damn near every team that I was on, we would struggle once we got down to the red zone and we would just kind of sputter. I don't know what it is. The field shortens. Maybe there aren't as many holes in the defense. The defense, generally, once you get inside the red zone, they shift to a different defense. In the red zone, usually you have your red zone offense with your script that is generally different plays than you run out in the other parts of the field. So you move on to a different list of plays and stuff like that. I don't know. To be honest, that's one of the great mysteries of football, in my opinion, is why good teams can sputter down in the red zone. But they haven't. I don't think that they're necessarily struggling in the red zone, but yeah, it could be better. They could be getting more points, but Jake Elliott's doing his job also.
So good, man. Well, you used to play with another great kicker in David Akers.
Yeah.
So fun fact, I used to walk the tee out to David Akers from the sideline after the kickoff kid, because some people would say to me, "What do you mean you walk the tee? Isn't there a kid that does that?" I'm like, "Yeah, just for the first one, and then I do it every other time."
Yeah, the kids can't pay attention that long.
But yeah, he's just such a stud, man. Jake Elliott, what he's been able to do for this team.
Yeah, Philly's been spoiled with good kickers for a big chunk here, and you don't really realize how crucial a good, consistent kicker is until you don't have one. But dude, Jake Elliott's been crushing it. I feel like he's could be a possible MVP on the team at this point. He's putting his hat in the ring as well.
That kick in overtime against Washington was so clutch, man. So clutch. Well, let me ask you one more question, and this may be a tough one, Todd. So over your 11-year NFL career, what is your best memory from those 11 years?
That is tough. A lot of good memories. Man, one game that kind of sticks out to me because it was so fun. It was kind of made me feel like a little kid. The snow game against Detroit.
LaShawn went off, man.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had a good day running the ball, which makes it a better memory. And it was against Ndamukong Suh, and it was in like freaking 3 feet of snow or something like that,
which came out of nowhere. Do you remember? No one thought it was going to snow like that.
No, I had no idea that we were even expecting snow. I remember going out of pregame and thinking to myself like, it's going to be a little wet, it looks like. And then I was like, well, that's okay. Maybe Sue won't get such a good get off, and he'll be a step behind or something like that. And then I came out for warm-ups and it was just dumping out there. And I was like, this is great. This is great. This is going to take him completely out of his game. I'm going to be able to just kind of feel around out there and not get abused at all. So, yeah, other than that, we had a lot of good seasons, a lot of good ball. A lot of good memories. Winning the NFC East was always a good memory. Victories against Dallas are great to remember. Yeah, I mean, the one that sticks out whenever people ask me is always that snow game, though.
Yeah. Yeah, it looked fun. It looked fun, so I can only imagine how much fun it was to play in it.
Yeah.
So, and didn't I just see you? You're a movie star now. Weren't you in the Kelsey documentary?
Movie star, yeah. Yeah, that was fun. They did a great job with that. I didn't really know what that was going to turn into. We got together to play some poker, and they said there was going to be some cameras around because Kelsey's trying to think about they're going to film like his transition into retirement or something, and then it just kind of turned into what it turned into because he didn't retire, and just so happened that they, were able to make it to the Super Bowl and play against his brother, and just a cool documentary that they got so much footage about that special season. What a great player, great dude. He deserves all the success he's got right now.
Yeah, we're lucky that he keeps coming back. I don't know how many more years we got him, but Eagles fans know how lucky we are for sure.
Right.
Well, Todd, I'll let you get back to the family, man. I can't thank you enough. This was great stuff. I know the fans enjoyed it as well, and hopefully we'll talk soon, brother.
Yeah, Bill, thanks for having me on. Hey, one thing real quick. So Trey Thomas and I started this YouTube thing, YouTube TV show called Between the Vines, where we travel around to different wineries every week and do like an Eagles recap of the game and stuff. So,
oh, that's awesome, man. I'll have to check it out.
If anybody wants to check it out, it's called Between the Vines, and you can see it on our Twitter or our X or whatever, and also on YouTube. So.
Cool. I'll make sure I'm going to check it out, and I'll share it too for everybody to be able to follow. Between the Vines with Todd Herremans and Trey Thomas. Looking forward to it, man. Thanks again, brother.
Good to see you, man.